This is the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4-pack from NECA Toys, but with multiple different styles of these coming out every year, is the value still there? Let's take a closer look at this one and find out for ourselves. This set is based on the Unmentionables artwork from the early Mirage days, and we actually get a more modern adaptation of this artwork by Kevin Eastman himself for the cover of the box. Most people kind of think of the box as just a throwaway, but I think in this case it adds something special. I've used boxes as backdrops on my shelf displays, or you can cut off the front flap. It's definitely something to keep in my opinion. Speaking of flaps, if you're an inbox collector, this is what you can expect to see when you get it on your shelf. We get a clear view of all four brothers and all of the included accessories. You can't really see too much of that backdrop inside the box, but taking it out, you can see it's kind of this search party scene. Definitely a fun style that complements the front of the box as well, and nothing that's too over the top that's going to detract from the look of the figures. Now, boxes aside, here's everything you get inside of the package. When I saw promo pictures for this set, I thought that the hats would be included as part of the head sculpt, but I was pleasantly surprised to see they're actually separate pieces, so you could always mix and match them to different brothers or use them on the old Jim Lawson set. I found that they don't really snap in place, so you kind of have to be careful when you're posing them. But I also think it's a little bit easier if you remove the back bandana piece first. But if you want it to be part of the look, you can definitely make it work. So far we've had two different flat-brimmed hats, and then this one is kind of more like a paperboy hat. This one seems to fit pretty well, even with that bandana piece. But the last one is definitely the most fun. It's kind of this bowler style hat with the big old hole right there in the middle. I can't imagine the original owner of this hat actually survived that shot, but it's here now. At this point I decided to try to take that bandana piece off to see if they would fit a little bit better, and usually they snap off with ease, but this one was a real struggle. I didn't have nearly as much trouble with the other three, so I'm sure this one was just a fluke, but be careful so you don't snap it in half. Here's the look of that bowler hat with no bandana piece. Here's that paperboy cap. Even with no bandana, the white one just doesn't sit right on my figure. It just seems like it's a little bit too shallow and narrow. I guess I could try heating it up a little bit and kind of stretching it out, but I don't know if I'd get a good result. The last one was kind of the same, not quite as bad. With that curved brim on the front, it fits a little bit better. To be honest, I mainly got this set for the hats, so I don't see him living without him very often. And before we take a closer look at the outfits on each figure, I thought we'd look at the accessories, and unfortunately it won't take long. The ones we do get are very well done, like this little bunch of dynamite. That's a pretty versatile accessory. Then we get this stopwatch with a real chain. I know the real chain is probably easier to do and more durable, but it doesn't really fit with the style of the comic-y pocket watch. And it has this giant actual jewelry clasp on the end. I don't want to seem too critical, but this just seemed like an odd choice to me. But I do like the flexibility of the real chain, so I'll take it. We get a pretty cool money bag stuffed to the brim. The looks on this one are great. It's kind of missing that cinched top that you would normally see. I guess it's more of like a pull string duffel bag style. But the best accessory of them all is definitely this safe. Even if it wasn't functional, it would still look pretty cool, but you can pull that lid open, and there are even some extra sculpted details inside. The money bag fits, but it is a little bit of a tight squeeze, so be careful for some paint rub on that white bag, but it definitely looks good hiding in there. You can close the front door, no problem with it inside, looking good. You also get 4 sets of extra hands, but that's it for accessories. Now, of course, we gotta get on to the real stars of the show, the actual turtle sculpts. The highlight of all of these is going to be the different outfits that they wear. This first turtle has the classic long brown trench coat, and it's kind of hard to see on camera, but the weathering is really nice on the sleeves of the figure. But it doesn't translate quite as well to the actual jacket part itself. The sleeves just have a little bit more of like a worn-in look, which I really like. I just wish the two pieces were the same. It's not super noticeable, but just a little bitty thing. On its own, the back of the coat looking really nice, and looks like we do get the pinless joints on these figures, which is surprising since they're basically reuse of the Jim Lawson figures. Articulation is pretty much the same as those, just limited a little bit by the outfits. Next up, we have another trench coat turtle. Other than the head sculpt and the hat, it's going to be the exact same sculpt as the first one, just a different color for the coat. I'm not really sure what type of material they're going for this one, but I do like the blue style. It's got this like dirty brown wash on it that makes it look really unique. But yeah, every bit of the sculpt is the same as that first turtle. The coats are a little bit pliable, so you could get a little bit of an action pose if you do it right. But definitely cool to have a couple Turtles in Disguise style Mirage figures. Next up is something completely different with the Paperboy Turtle. Instead of a trench coat, this one gets like this rough looking sweater on top that's really well done, and then a shiny pair of khakis on the bottom. They really went all out with the details like the neck of the sweater and the cuffs, and then this one also has the brass knuckles on his hands. Sometimes you can just tell who the sculptor's favorite turtle was, and I think in this case, this one gets the win. Nice weathering detail all throughout. It doesn't really look like there's supposed to be a shell hiding under there. He's definitely got a case of the Hank Hill butt going on in the back, and if he's got his tail tucked up in there, that's gotta be a little bit uncomfortable. Overall though, this one is definitely looking really good. One thing this one gets that the trenchcoat turtles don't is the waist swivel. Definitely something you don't get to see very often in turtle figures, but they're definitely taking advantage of the no shell style, and I think photographers are going to get really creative with this new possibility. And then last up we have the bowler cap turtle. This one has a normal length leather jacket over the undershirt and a nice pair of dark jeans on the bottom. This one also has the two different body pieces, so it gets the waist swivel as well. And we kind of have the same thing going on with more weathering on the sleeves than the rest of the coat. It might just be my particular batch though. And with these you get a little bit better view of those pinless legs. It's probably the same lower half sculpt as the other turtle, but I have seen that some people have taken off this jacket piece, so if you wanted to, you could swap out the arms with the Jim Lawson turtles and go with like a sleeveless shirt look. Definitely some cool possibilities with these outfits. The sculpts and designs of all of these figures are ridiculously good, so I'm definitely not disappointed. But you might have noticed I'm ignoring one giant important detail, and that is who with this set. The Jim Lawson set from a couple years ago each had an initial on the inside of their head so you could tell. So I thought for sure that was going to be the case with these, and I took the first one off, and on the inside I saw a big old M. I haven't had anyone tell me that this one was supposed to be Michelangelo, but maybe. But blue trenchcoat is definitely where things took a weird turn. I assumed this was Donnie because he was second in the box, but he gets an F initial inside the head. Definitely not the name of any turtle that I know. Paperboy is the one that most people have been telling me is Michelangelo. But when you take off his head, you can probably guess it's not an M, instead it is a uppercase D. So either it's all wrong or it's Donatello. So we have two that could be right, one that's completely wrong, and then this last one is a capital H. So I really don't think these initials mean anything, they just seem like random letters. I've heard a lot of different answers online, but the one I've heard the most is from left to right, Donatello, Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Raphael. Let me know if you have any evidence that changes that theory. Now, the main debate that I think I have is this set still worth $150? The easiest comparison is the Jim Lawson turtles. We got the nice Kevin Eastman artwork on this one and a similar number of accessories. The bodies are partial reuse, but they added new head sculpts and clothing, so I think it works. But the Disguise set from last year also gave us jackets and additional head sculpts. Kinda light on additional accessories, but we got a few. I'm pretty sure the Style Guide Toon set was the first one to cost $150. We got a fair amount of accessories and the new bright green color, but they were all reused figures and molds. But then we go back to the glory days. The original Turtles in Disguise set, multiple heads, soft good outfits, a ton of different accessories, nice artwork on the box of that one as well. And did I mention it was $25 cheaper? I don't think there's any debate that this was the best value. In the end, if we are thinking we spend about $35 on each individual Mirage release, that comes out to about $140 already, so I don't think $150 is too much of a stretch based on their other prices. I like how unique these are with the different outfits. Do I wish they were cheaper? Of course, but I think it's okay. Let me know what you think of this Unmentionables 4-pack from NECA. And I probably already know the answer, but let me know if you would buy the Casey Jones and April O'Neil add-on 2-pack as well. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video. Give me a follow, share, or a comment if you'd like, and have a great day.